Welcome to the KDrama Show. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Kim.
We're here to unpack your all-time favorite Korean dramas and chat about all the reasons that we find these shows so charming.
And so addictive. And we know you do too, so settle in with some ramen and a boba tea while we dive into the KDrama Show with Ashley and Kim.
Hey, Bixby. Start a video recording. Certainly not anybody else that can, understand. Hey, welcome back to season 3, episode 2.
I wrote an introduction.
Did you?
For us.
Oh.
Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a little transition. You know how it's like, it's the Hollywood Hot Minute, Hollywire Hot Minute, and they go, whoop, and then it starts a little clock thing.
Oh, okay.
So ours will be like, here we go, and then I'm going to do a little whoosh, kind of swoosh across the screen.
Okay. Welcome to the KDrama Show with Ashley and Kim.
It'll be cooler when you see it. It's not cool when I explain it.
Okay. Well, welcome to the KDrama Show with Ashley and Kim.
That's Ashley.
That's Kim. We're here to recap and relive our favorite moments of our favorite K-dramas with you, our listeners.
So we're going to jump right in. So this is your one and only warning. Spoilers are incoming. So if you haven't yet, go watch the episode and then meet back up with us so we can talk about the episode together. So without further ado, let's get into it.
And then we have our...
So first things first, I think we need to address our new look.
Yes.
And not us, because I'm tired and old and I'm going to look the same for the rest of forever. Well, I mean, not really. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We decided to switch things up a little bit.
New vibe. We kind of got tired of the dark blue, washed out, pale and pasty vibe, so we thought we would. It's the same location, different angle. So we used to sit like on the other side of where we actually
were.
Were
Camera
exactly.
was here, we were there. So we just kind of flip-flopped it a little bit.
And before we ever did the camera, we were in this location, just facing that way on a couch.
I think that, we were in
that
the same...
That was the first. So every season we've done something.
We're just trying to find the right setting. But it has a little softer lighting, a little more interesting for people to look at. I don't know, you can see my dirty office now, so...
She got us some comfy chairs.
I did get us some comfy chairs.
I really like them.
They probably need a little TLC, but honestly,
okay.
They're pretty good chairs. I'm excited.
Just need to get like a little pillow, because...
K-drama watching pillow?
Yeah. I do have one of the finger hearts. Like,
oh,
that's
you have
the
one
case.
of the... Yeah, that's cute. Other things, the Ashley tea. We are no longer, if you missed our announcement last time, we are no longer doing the Ashley tea as part of our main podcast setting. It has its own segment now.
It does.
So
I just need to get with it.
Well, for our tea lovers, don't forget to go check out her segment, Ashley's segment. It's
just on our Instagram.
They're just reimagined, on our Instagram. So go check out at the KDrama Show. She puts a lot of effort into hunting down her tea, and we didn't want it to keep running cold, so
I know. So sad. Yeah,
if you want to keep up with her real time over at the KDrama Show on Instagram, go show her a little love today. So,
Had to.
All right, episode 1 recap.
Okay, I actually wrote a recap.
Did you?
I did. I was like, hey,
I did too, because we didn't talk about who was going to do it today.
No, I kind of just assumed that I would be the one doing it because...
Go for it. Because I did all the goblin
ones. You did all the goblin ones because it's the first time
watching it,
and that way it helps me remember what in the world happened.
Word.
Because, needless to say, episode 1 was rough for me. I did not enjoy it very much. It was a struggle.
It's okay.
It was a struggle.
Episode 1.
Episode 1. So, MiRae has been bullied her whole life for the way she looks. Despite standing up for herself and making changes in her life, she's shunned by most people. Her mom gives her consent for MiRae to get plastic surgery before she begins university to make her life easier and have better opportunities for her future. Her dad does not know that she has had surgery, as he has adamantly forbade the idea. Starting her new chapter at school, MiRae is learning that even pretty people have a hard time too, as she struggles to figure out how to deal with a different type of attention. During the orientation for her department, MiRae introduces herself and grabs the attention of KyungSeok, who has also grabbed the attention of most of the girls for his good looks. Drinking games ensue, and MiRae finds a way to leave after a senior keeps pushing her to drink with him. He follows her out and offers to take her to a place where she can rest with obvious ill intent. That our naive MiRae does not notice. She realizes that she is in an unsafe position as she is prevented from leaving, though KyungSeok, he shows up and, basically saves her. And then as she goes to leave, she is asked, if they went to the same school. And it's causing her to panic that they may have known each other in the past.
Dun, 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 dun. Episode 2. All right, we open with the same question. By any chance, did you go to Jaryong Middle School? And MiRae starts to panic, but he coolly just mentions, well, I knew someone by that name, and he just walks away, leaving her to stew in that for a little bit.
Still panic.
MiRae, she starts to recall this handsome boy from her childhood who looked beautiful no matter what he did. When he was doing like the earthquake drills, when he broke his arm, the world revolved around him, and the most legendary of them all, KyungSeok, which is KyungSeok walking in the rain. And you see in the this scene that this actually happens, it's him walking in the rain, and then as everyone stops and looks at him, all the boys behind him are like, yeah, I'm cool too, and they put their umbrellas down and they start to walk behind him, and it's like not the same.
They did a great job casting the younger version of him.
Yeah.
There was a lot of similarities in their facial structures to be like, yeah, that's somebody I could totally believe as like the younger version of this character.
For sure. So we're back at MiRae's apartment, and she is asking Hyunjung if she has any remnants of her old face. Like, is it possible people could be recognizing me right now? It's just this fixation for her.
Right.
And Hyunjung reminds her that her own father didn't even recognize her, so calm down, take a breath. And then she gets really excited, and she's like, maybe he's interested in you. Maybe that's why he remembered you from middle school. And MiRae's just like, yeah, don't even go there.
Let's not.
But she starts to recall this instance where she was sitting at a bus stop, and Do KyungSeok happened upon her at the bus stop, and he looks at her, and she notices he stifles this giggle and kind of looks away really quickly. And so she just reminds herself, like, he's no different than anyone else in her life at that time, and she just shouldn't get her hopes up in that way.
Right.
So.
Well, as she, decides to just go to sleep, because at this point, there's no use stewing over it. KyungSeok actually shows up at the hospital, and he's looking for YooJin, which is it's his best friend, and he is laying in a hospital bed being coddled by his girlfriend. Does it hurt? Yes, it hurts right here. Do I need to kiss it for you? Like, totally got to get it,
Yes.
milk that for all it's worth. And so then, KyungSeok just walks up and he goes, he hit you? He got thrown out? And his friend YooJin sits up and he's just like, stop talking, like, knock it off. And he's like, yeah. And his girlfriend goes, wait, you got kicked out? And so then, KyungSeok's like, did you lose your inheritance too? And he goes, yeah. And again, the girlfriend's like, you lost your inheritance too? She's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm going to open a business. I'm going to be running a bar. And she is not about that life at all. And breaks up with him.
Yeah.
Like on the spot of like, I was thinking about marrying you, but this is all your fault because you're irresponsible. And so, so she breaks up with him, and I just love, it's total best friend energy right there, because KyungSeok just leans over and he goes, does it hurt? Should I kiss it for you? Just being a patronizing best friend.
Well, I love that she says, you lost my trust. It's not that I'm materialistic, but that you're irresponsible, which is like, oh, okay, we know better. But after she leaves in the taxi, KyungSeok goes, you're lying in a hospital bed and you weren't even injured? You lost my trust.
The audacity that you had right there.
But I have in all caps, I'm like, he has a personality. Like, he's just sarcastic.
Completely.
He's a deadpan, sarcastic kind of human. Like, he doesn't
Mm-hmm.
I know lots of people like that. And until you realize that he's actually like a super funny guy, you're like,
Why?
do you ever smile? And he doesn't, but he's super funny.
Yeah, it's
it's an acquired taste.
Yeah. But no, so far, I've found him to be quite hilarious, but I like that sense of humor.
Yeah, me too.
So for me, it's just like, oh.
Takes me a minute to get there,
But, right. So YooJin and KyungSeok, they go to the location where the bar is going to be, and he's like, hey, this is where it's going to be. And he enlists his help to start decorating and getting things where they need to go because, like, remodeling's about to start. And so, like, got to get this process started of, like, where things are going to go. But they're sharing some drinks. And in this moment is when we learn how KyungSeok chooses his major is because his dad said he didn't like it. Mm-hmm. And so he was just being a little bit rebellious. And he's asked about his mom, and if he's talked to his mom, and he's like, yeah, well, she's dead to me. So there's no relationship with the mom. So obviously something's going to come from that at some point in the show because...
Well, he says, let's not talk about the dead. And you're like, oh. And
so
then he
sad.
goes, she's dead to me. And you're like, oh.
Uh-oh.
There's a lot of baggage.
A lot of baggage there, yeah.
We meet Hyunjung's parents, who ask if she really is MiRae, like the girl they knew. I think Hyunjung should get something done as well. Super uncomfortable comment to make, by the way. Mm-hmm. Something I would probably do on accident. But MiRae, she rushes out the door. She's like, I'm done. I'm going. And outside of the door, she hears Hyunjung's parents say, she has some guts. How could she get plastic surgery without telling her dad? And then the dad goes, you'd better not do anything without telling me. Which honestly, that's fair.
Right, yeah. I agree.
But we see Do KyungSeok. He's in a car with his father and his sister, who is busy complaining that people always point out how much more good-looking KyungSeok is compared to her when a delivery motorcycle takes out the side view mirror on the passenger window. So their father exits the car and reassures the man that he can basically just go about his day. We don't need to bring the police into this. We know it was an accident. And Do Kyung-hee and Do Kyung-seok are watching as basically their dad is going through the motions of campaigning. Mm-hmm. Please tell others how nice I am. Take a good look at my face. I'm Congressman Do Sung-won, which is what Kyung-hee, the little sister, is saying in the backseat of the car. Right. And Kyung-seok just kind of like smiles at how like accurate. Observant she is about what he's doing. But it is the entrance ceremony now. And MiRae is talking on the phone with her mom.
Yeah, where are you at? Mm-hmm. I don't see you yet. And we also see her dad is in front of her mom, and he is like rushing to find his daughter. He's so excited.
Well, he hasn't seen her all summer either.
Right, it's been months. And suddenly he is in front of her, and he's like, oh, I know you. You're my daughter Sunbae. Like, you're her senior. Like, I talked to you. And it's just crazy. Like, you sound so much like her. And he's just going on, and MiRae's just standing there, and she's feeling like the smallest and worst human being in the world. And she goes, it's me, Dad. And he just stares, and like his whole world is now fallen apart. He is so heartbroken, and he just stares, and he's like, no, and drops the beautiful bouquet of flowers that he's brought for his precious baby girl because he's so excited, and just turns around and just takes off, just walks away. And MiRae is, of course, just as upset because she's a daddy's girl. Clearly, you can tell that, she's felt a lot of love from her dad, and follows him and tries to be like, Dad, I'm sorry. And then he just, she turns him around and he goes, I don't know you, miss. And he just keeps going. And that was such a sad scene.
Such mixed feelings about this scene, because on the one hand, it's like when you're a parent, your kids make stupid decisions, and you have to, I don't know. When they're adults, it's different.
Right.
When they're children living in your home, it's a whole other ballgame. But the thing that I didn't like about her response to the situation was, her apology was, I couldn't tell you because you didn't approve of it. I'm sorry, I couldn't tell you because you didn't approve of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those were her words.
Right.
And it's like, what kind of a stupid apology is that?
That's not an apology. That's
not
shifting
an apology.
blame.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry that you couldn't handle it and you couldn't be on the inner loop because you're being emotional about it. Anyway, it's fine. It's not fine.
It's not fine.
Continue.
So, at the same time, because that everybody's being introduced into the school now, KyungSeok and his family are having their pictures taken by the dad's assistant, and like, okay, yeah, smile. Oh, sir, you look so good. Move a little closer, And he receives a phone call, and calls the father over, and he goes, all we hear is she's been appointed as the CEO of Kinlan Korea. Kellen. Oh, maybe I should make my font bigger so I can read.
Kellen Korea.
Kellen. And the dad just goes, we will talk about this later. And they go right back. But at the same time, KyungSeok's looking around and he's seeing this mother and her son having their picture taken. And there's just this, the music's sad and wistful and a little bit longing.
Well, and even Kyunghee, like when they're having this side conversation, the dad and the assistant or the secretary, she looks up at KyungSeok and she's like, can you at least like gain a little weight? Like, do me some favors.
Please
here.
help me out.
And he feels like he's just been like thrown into the deep end of this world of the superficial, I think. Mm-hmm. And he sees other families that actually
care about each other.
Yeah. And MiRae and KyungSeok are both experiencing this on different ends of it.
In different ways.
Yeah, if that makes sense. Where she got so caught up in the superficial that she ruined her relationship with her father. And his father is stuck in the world of the superficial. So it's just interesting, the dichotomy of the...
Well, and his relationship with his father is completely superficial because his father is superficial with publicity. With everyone else. So yeah, MiRae's mom is with her and it's like, it's going to be okay. I'll calm your dad down. I'll talk to him. He'll be fine. And then we see her dad sitting in his taxi and he's looking up at the picture that's hanging from the rearview mirror. And we have him have a flashback to when he brought home this nice fancy camera and was like, I want to take pictures of my family, and calls MiRae out and he's like, I want a pretty picture of you. And she's going, do you really have to take a picture of me? And he's like, this is my taxi now. I don't have to share it with anybody. I want a picture of my daughter in here. And the mom tries to go over and take the picture with, and he's like, get out of the picture. I just want my daughter. And so then when we come back, he's holding on to that picture and just
grieving.
He's so sad. And we still don't see the picture because the son is...
He is the one person in her life that never let her speak down on herself and never once validating her feelings of feeling insufficient because of how she looked.
Yeah.
And that wasn't good enough for her. It's really sad.
It makes me sad.
It's the first day of classes. There's new energy on campus. MiRae runs to meet two of her new friends as they walk to their first class together. It's first day of school. It's always fun. It's exciting. But she walks into the lecture hall and everyone greets her with smiles, greets her by name. And she's just like, what is this? Are they going to throw cat blood on me now?
Yeah. Is this going to turn into the end of Carrie?
Yeah, exactly. So Sua enters to the same pleasantries, but she is definitely more comfortable with the attention. It's something she's used to. But Kim Chanwoo, he calls MiRae's name and tells her, hey, I've saved you a seat over here. And he smiles at her. He's not in the class, but he just came to see MiRae. And the other students are clearly very uncomfortable with this, but he gets to do what he wants. He's big man on campus. He's the oldest. And he says, I'm such an idiot. I wanted to call you, but forgot to ask your number. He offers his help to her since he got an A in general chemistry. And he has all the notes for the exams, all the test answers, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And Jungboon, she pipes up and she's like, well, why don't you help the other students? Some of us need help too. And he's like, well, MiRae and I, we have a special relationship. And she's just like, come again?
I'm sorry, what now?
When did we decide this? But then he's asked her to have lunch with him. And then he looks at the girls and says, you two had better not come.
Oh, he's so gross.
Such a... Oh, if you want to be my lover, you gotta get with my friends.
Yeah, but the correct song for him is, I don't want no scrubs.
Yeah. So it's lunchtime now, and MiRae is following ChanWoo to a table, and they pass by KyungSeok, who's eating alone. And as Sua is leaving the cafeteria, she kind of happens to notice, like, ChanWoo sitting at the table with MiRae, and he's smiling at her and having a conversation. So ChanWoo asks MiRae again if he can pursue her, which causes her to, like, choke on her food, which I don't blame her.
I would choke too.
And so she excuses herself to the restroom. And as MiRae is gone, Sua swoops in and says hello and makes conversation, which KyungSeok can overhear. But she asks if ChanWoo likes MiRae, and he answers, well, I think she's pretty, just like I think you're pretty too. And Sua comments on how, well, you guys would make a really nice couple. Although it makes me a little sad. She kind of says it to herself. And he like perks up. And he's like,
excited.
well, what do you mean by this? And Sua moves to leave, but he like grabs her by the wrist, like kind of aggressively. And it kind of catches her off guard a little bit, I think. But meanwhile, at another table, Yena, the female sunbae, who's been after KyungSeok this whole time, has invited herself to eat with KyungSeok, saying that, I've been trying to text you since orientation 3 days ago, and he just coldly responds, I don't check my phone that often.
At least he didn't pull a MiRae. I don't have a phone.
I don't have a phone number. But he's still listening to Sua confess to ChanWoo that she's liked him since orientation, but it's fine since she's over him now, and she just like scurries away. And then poor MiRae is like giving herself a pep talk in the bathroom.
Of how to get out of this.
Yes, she's preparing to reject him, and very earnestly. Like, she's trying not to hurt his feelings, trying not to, like, rock the boat. This is someone she has to spend her time with at school and have the respect of. But she only wants to think of him as a classmate. So she returns back to the cafeteria, and ChanWoo is already leaving. He's already leaving the table with his tray, and he tells her, oh, yeah, you're still here. I'm sorry. I made a mistake by confessing. I didn't mean it. And I actually like someone else. I'm really sorry for making things complicated. Like, dude.
No.
That's not how the world works. Sorry. But as he walks away, we just kind of see MiRae, and she's, like, stunned. She has no idea what just happened. She has whiplash.
So lost. Like,
Poor
wait.
girl.
What? What do I do?
This is one of my favorite scenes in the whole show, because in the background, as you're watching her, you just see ChanWoo walking away, and then all of a sudden he just drops out of frame and his tray goes flying. And you see KyungSeok, and he just looks down at the floor and he goes, oh, my mistake.
His leg is completely stuck out for him to just boom.
Yeah, sorry, it's such an accident.
I did not mean to do that.
I was just stretching, not a big deal. Go ahead.
Well, ChanWoo decides that, you know what, it was a mistake, and now I'm going to try and punch you in the face for it, because clearly we have to fight now. And we were watching this part together, and we were just like, you're
like 5'5",
maybe, but it's like the little kid picking on, it's like the sixth grader picking on the senior in high school.
Yeah, kind of,
like, comparatively, because
size wise,
yeah, because ChanWoo, who plays KyungSeok, he's what, 6'2", maybe 6'3", like he's over 6 foot tall. ChanWoo, yeah. And so then the actor that's playing ChanWoo, he's maybe 5'4".
I don't know about 5'4", but he's definitely not 6 foot.
No. Well, I would be taller than him, and I'm 5'8".
Yeah.
So, but anyways, it's just size-wise, it's just really hysterical.
Yeah.
So he tries to punch him in the face, and, he swerves, and ChanWoo falls into a chair and decides to go again, and, it's just not working out well. And finally, he gets so mad that, you're gonna die today. Pick up a chair. And MiRae rushes in and it's like, senpai, like, you need to stop, like, put it down. And instead he pushes her off and she does like the slow-mo fall backwards.
For a block and a half.
For a block. It's like the guy on Instagram that does like, car accidents in English shows compared to car accidents in K-dramas.
Oh, I know.
And he's just standing there like this. So as the car's coming, going, ah!
Waiting for it to hit him. That's funny.
So she falls into KyungSeok and he just kind of like holds her there. And they're both just like, well, this has gone way too far. And others come in and like pull ChanWoo away, and they're like, okay,
Taeyong, the class president.
Yeah, they're like, you need to leave. You need to get out of here. Like, people are staring at you. Like, you're kind of looking like a fool.
Well, and you can even hear other people saying, why does he always causing trouble? So you know this isn't the first time that something like this has happened on this level.
He is just chaotic.
And like, in a place like Korea, you would not still be at that school.
So then, WonHo, right? The guys that are... The one kid that's interested in Sua. I didn't get the other one's name. Sangwon, thank you.
Sungwoon.
Sungwoon and WonHo are talking about the fight that they, witnessed in the cafeteria, and Sua's sitting there, and she's thinking on how cool KyungSeok looked, of just like handling things so well, and not paying attention to the fact that WonHo is trying to ask her out in a casual way of like, let's go for chicken and beer after class. And
well, he makes his friend ask if they want to go for chicken and beer, and he's like, well, I'll go if Sua goes. Smooth.
He's trying so hard. He's at least cute about it. Like, he's not being
disrespectful,
creepy. He's just being like, oh, like, let's...
It's a little cringy, but it's not creepy.
It's cringy, but I'd rather cringe than creep. So
yeah.
So instead of realizing that's what's going on, she's, thinking about that, and she just goes, oh, how cute. And they're like, oh, she thinks you're cute, and not realizing that
I think she realized she just didn't care to correct.
Or wasn't paying attention. But I think, yeah, you're right. I can't stand her.
Yeah, I don't think she did anything to correct them because she didn't mind that...
The attention.
Because she could fall back on the fact that, I was thinking about something else if he brings it up again. But she's going to let them think that
that's what
she meant. But they also said at the beginning of the conversation, they were explaining to Sua, like, he has a nickname, ChanWoo. He has a nickname, SOJ, son of a jerk. And so they're like, you need to be careful around him because he has a reputation. You don't want to be associated with this guy. But ChanWoo interrupts, and he has to speak with Sua outside. And she smiles sweetly and agrees, because she's Sua. And he says, what I'm about to tell you comes from the bottom of my heart, so please hear me out. Guys always have their own ideal type of girl in mind. The same goes for me. When I first saw you, my heart almost dropped to the ground, and I'll be straightforward with you. You're my ideal type of girl. You're the only one I was interested in ever since the freshman party. You might not believe me, but I tend to get really shy around the person I like. But now that I know you feel the same about me, I was wondering if you'd like to start going out with me. I had to write the whole thing down because it's such a blatant lie.
Oh, yeah.
That I couldn't sum it up as well as he just threw it out there.
But
every single sentence was a lie.
And then the way he was presenting it, too, of just, like...
being all timid.
Bashful, or like... Bro, you literally tried to assault somebody, like, 20 minutes ago in the cafeteria. Not to mention episode 1.
The entire confession, though, Sua just has, like, this scowl on her face. She is not interacting with him at all. She is not reciprocating any of this energy. It's as if she's, like, completely inconvenienced by the fact that they're even having this conversation in that moment.
Oh, yeah. But, gotta keep him on that hook so you can use him for whatever you want.
Well, the first thing she asks is about MiRae, and he was like, I was blinded by her dancing at freshman orientation.
She was on my team. I had to give her attention.
But she says she's grateful, and she asks for a little time to think about it. And WonHo, after ChanWoo is left, rushes over to her and asks, "Did anything happen? I know he's been hitting on you." And she's like, No, he didn't. And so he was only saying what all the other seniors say, just to ask for help if she ever needs it, which is a lie.
Ugh. Again, you have to keep some of them, all of them in her case, just enough on the hook to be like, manipulate the words to fit whatever situation she's in.
That's not the way to do it, by the way.
No. Hence, like, from literally the time she was introduced, I was like, yeah, no, I don't like you. So poor MiRae, she is sitting on a bench just going, what did I just go through? Thinking about the whiplash of ChanWoo going, you know, have you thought about our relationship to, I'm sorry, I actually really like somebody else. Let's just be friends, okay? And she's like, is he trying to make a fool of me? Is that how people are seeing me, as fool? And
because it's happened to her before. This isn't unbased. Like,
right.
The fact that it has happened to her before, like in her middle school years, totally fair assumption to
Oh,
make.
absolutely. But then she's also thinking about how, you know, KyungSeok caught her, and just kind of that little interaction. She's just like, I don't really know what to do with this. This is a totally different situation that I've never had to, you know, think about it. And as she's thinking about all of this, Sua comes and sits next to her and asks her, you know, are you okay? You know, and then asks about, like, she asks about ChanWoo, like, are you guys together? Do you have a crush on him? Like, and she's like, no, not at all. And then she then goes, you know, well, do you like KyungSeok? Like, gotta feel out the waters here. And like, and she's like, no. She's like, I'm just not really sure what happened. Like, I don't know what's going on.
She really doesn't.
She's so lost. And basically Sola just tells her, like, you just don't let it stress you out. Don't let it bother you. It's not going to be a big deal. And if you need anything, like, you know, I'm your friend. I'll help you out.
Well, and she's like, you know, he has a nickname. It's SOJ, son of a jerk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's just gotta.
Dude, 5 minutes ago you were confessing to him that you liked him.
Right. Ugh.
3 minutes ago he was confessing to you that you liked him, and you were gonna think about it.
Right. So poor MiRae is just going, wait, I have a friend now? Like, she's got my back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the case, because as soon as she heard that MiRae doesn't like KyungSeok, she had this total, like, gleeful look on her face of like, there's one less person I have to fight for his affections, his attention.
Good, she knows her place.
Mm-hmm. And you will stay there. So they run off to class because they realize that they are now late.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we meet the TA. I didn't get his surname, so just Woo-young, right?
Woo-young Sunbae. That's what they usually call him.
Woo-young Sunbae.
Mm-hmm.
Which, he's a great actor. I love him in every character he's played.
He is normal-looking handsome. Like, there's, like, the pretty handsome, like ChanWoo.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's that kind of handsome where it's, like, a normal handsome.
Normal handsome. So he's explaining how the classes work, or how the class is going to work. There's going to be team experiments, you know, break up into groups. And MiRae and Sua, they are coming in late, and they're going, you know, sorry, I'm here, I promise. And so everybody has to go, and they pick a piece of paper, and that tells them what team they're about to be on. Mm-hmm. And we have WonHo and Sungwon, and I don't remember the girl's name.
Jihyo.
Jihyo.
Mm-hmm.
I make no promises that I remember.
It's okay.
Are all sitting down, and the guys look at her, and they're just like, I wanted a pretty girl on the team. And she's like, do you want to die? Great response, by the way. Like, if you're gonna be a jerk about it. And then
I love how Sungwoon says to her, I bet you by semester WonHo will have broken up with a girl and enlisted in the military. I love it.
You just seem like the type that you would do that.
Instead of traveling abroad for a year in Korea, you're gonna enlist in the military.
But then MiRae is on this team, and she's kind of just like awkwardly standing there, like not really sure how to
insert herself,
because she's never done that before. She doesn't know how to just, hey, I'm here now. I'm part of this group. But Sua walks up and she's like, oh, are you part of this too? And then, of course, the guys are like thrilled because now they have the two prettiest girls in their department on their team. And they're kind of just like, okay, this is everybody, right? Like, everybody's
cap
here.
It right there.
And we good. And KyungSeok comes up and he goes, is this team 3?
And you can see the wind just like out of their sails.
And Sua, of course, just lights up and is like, oh, yeah, of course, you can sit right here. But then, you know, as the class goes on, you have to pick a team leader. And they're like, oh, should we vote? Do we volunteer? Like,
well, Sungwoon says all the celebrities of the first year are on our team. And Sua asks what he means. And Sungwoon answers, you and Do KyungSeok are both very popular among our class. And Sua smiles at KyungSeok, and then he adds, and so is MiRae. And he kind of hangs his head, and Sua like loses her smile and looks super uncomfortable in that moment. But then yes, they assign the roles.
So then everybody's leaving class, and I'm assuming it's just another senior that was talking to Woo-young, right?
That was Tae-young,
that was the class president. Okay, so because Woo-young, he asks about, he just says that's the celebrity, right? Or that's the popular girl.
Yeah, the celebrity of Hankuk University.
And he, you know, he's being filled in like, oh yeah, everybody, all the guys are asking about her.
Even guys from other schools know about her.
And he goes, yeah, so it's like, you know, really popular. And he goes, who? That's not who he was looking at all. No. Could care less. And he has noticed MiRae, and that's kind of where his interest is lying right now. And then our favorite scene of this episode.
Yes, Sua. She walks up to KyungSeok in the hall. He's grabbing a cider, which is basically like a Korean Sprite, if you don't know, from a vending machine. And he makes like no effort to interact with her whatsoever when she walks up.
Blatant ignoring.
And she like asks, hey, can I have that? Just kind of playfully. And he's like, get your own money, get your own drink. And she's just like, I'm just kidding. And you know, kind of plays it off like, hee hee hee. But MiRae and her friends, they walk up. And Jungboon, she comments that this is basically like our school has turned into a movie set because there's two beautiful people talking to each other. And they kind of giggle and start to walk away. But KyungSeok looks up as Sua is still talking to him. And he just goes, here, and tosses the cider to Sua. And she goes, thank you. I'll really enjoy it. Yeah. And as she's saying that, he calls out for MiRae. And Sua just immediately stops and is like, did what? I just get stood up for another person? What is this feeling?
What happened? This doesn't happen to me.
Especially not for someone like that. But KyungSeok walks outside and hands MiRae the little perfume bottle that he had found on the floor after the fight that had happened in the cafeteria when she got knocked to the ground, or almost to the ground. And then he asks her again if she is the Kang MiRae from Jaryang middle school. And he recalls the bus stop, Pomelo, which is referring to the scent of the perfume that he gave her. And she finally concedes. She just sheepishly asks him not to reveal her identity to anyone else, when they're interrupted by YooJin, his friend, giving him a ride from the school. But we flash back to middle school again, and it's all of the kids sweeping the yard. And a young KyungSeok walks by a young MiRae, and he asks if she's wearing hand spray, which is perfume. And she just immediately flies on the defensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, am I not even allowed to wear perfume? And he just kind of looks at her and then walks away. But MiRae, she kind of, in present time, she's starting to contemplate, like, is my year ruined? Is he going to out me?
Right. Am I going to relive my entire...
But also, why did he remember the perfume that I wore in middle school 5 years ago? Good question.
That is a great question. Must have smelled really, really good.
I was like, it'd be cool to buy a bottle, and then I was like, $200?
Nah, I'm good.
I'm okay.
So KyungSeok is helping, well, he's been enlisted to help decorate the bar because there's going to be the freshman party that's held there. And he's very distracted thinking about that conversation. Mm-hmm. And while he's, helping, MiRae and YooJin are talking about, oh, you did go to school together. Like, and MiRae is just kind of in a panic moment again of just like, how worried about this do I need to be? This is, I don't know what to do. But then she, tells YooJin, I now have a friend in the department. She's like, are you getting close? Like, because I think she's more worried about MiRae because she's literally been her only friend for years of, she doesn't know how deceitful people can be. So I think...
Well, she is a psychology major.
And she's a psychology major.
I love, though, that Hyunjung says, MiRae is talking like, I shouldn't go to the party. Mm-hmm. He's gonna make it awkward. It's gonna be weird now. He knows my secret. And Hyunjung just says, it's not like you risked your life and spent all that money on that surgery just to avoid people. How about you get close with him and get him on our side?
She's such a good friend.
She's such a good friend.
I love her.
Yes.
So it's the freshman party. And MiRae and a couple of the other girls are walking in. They get to the bar and they're just like, okay. And they walk in and KyungSeok is actually behind the counter and he's pouring some draft beers. So they sit down at the table, and this is where they learn that KyungSeok is actually close friends with the owner. Mm-hmm. And so they're all drinking, and as the night goes on, the conversation of, what do you look for the most in, someone of the opposite sex of, like, for girls, when you're looking at a guy, what's the most important thing for you, and vice versa. And, Sua gets asked this question. She just goes, I think it's personality that's most important. That was a lie on her end.
And the boys are like giving her a standing ovation because they're like, yeah, she doesn't care about my face. It's pretty ugly.
No, she cares. She cares a lot. And then they decide to play the image game. And I'm hoping that's just like badly translated. But if that's the name of it, that's just like a weird name.
Well, it's like
it's a drinking game.
Well, it's like what's your image? What was people's perception of you?
Okay, let's say that would make more rather than just the image game. I'm like that has to be more translation
probably
funky to be like what? But basically, it's you ask questions of like who do you think?
Well, like the first one was who is the most delinquent in high school.
Right, so then you point to whoever it is, and
they point to MiRae.
Right, but whoever gets the most people
whoever
to vote has to take a shot.
Has to take a shot.
Drinking games, man, they're interesting. So yes, so then then it's what's the second question about dated the most, right? And again, people think it's MiRae, and so she has to take 2 shots, like boom, boom, and it's not like
which we already know she's a lightweight. She doesn't like to drink.
Right.
It's not something she enjoys, and it makes her feel sick right away.
And so she's like, her friends even ask her, like, are you okay? And she's like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe not.
But KyungSeok joins the party.
Mm-hmm.
And Yena is coming up with a question, and hers is, who has kissed the earliest? And then the vote happens, but it splits between KyungSeok and MiRae. And so the Sunbaes, they say, love a shot. But when Yoon stands up for her and says, she's had a lot back to back.
Pretty quickly.
Give her a break. I don't think she can do a love shot. That's difficult. And KyungSeok, in true K-drama fashion, comes to her rescue and offers to take her shot for her.
And say, isn't that being somebody's, is like a black rose or a black knight? Isn't that like the term that they use if you're drinking for somebody else?
Sure. I don't know.
I don't remember. It's
probably
something
I
like
believe
that.
you.
But yes, he drinks for her.
He does.
And everybody's, ooh. So then...
I love this next part so much. Sweet, sweet justice.
So then the next question, I didn't write the question down because what is it?
Who's gotten the most
love professions?
Professions, yes.
And everybody points to Sua, and she just sits there and she's just like, oh, no,
That's
no,
never
that doesn't
happened.
happen to me. And then she just kind of sits there and just looks at KyungSeok like, you want to take this for me?
Well, she says, wow, I've already had a lot to drink. And then she kind of looks down and looks over at him, waiting for
him to
step up.
Save the day.
Yes.
And
he just stares at her. And he's like, say something, I dare you.
I beg of you. Bring it. And instead, WonHo comes over, takes the shot, and then's like, can you stand up for a second? Like, I have a question for you.
So much secondhand embarrassment in this scene.
It hurt so badly. But he tells her, just, I have to say this now because there's so many guys who are chasing after you. And I have to swoop in and ask before I lose my chance. But
I should make you mine quickly.
No,
don't say that. Don't say it like that.
But I want to date you. Like, will you go out with me?
And she just stares at him, and everyone feels super awkward.
Oh my goodness, I had no idea you felt that way about me. I never would have expected that.
But I love Sunghoon, like a true friend. He just goes, "Namjaga, what a man! Good job!" And he kind of gets everyone to pity clap with him. So good.
He's such a good friend.
He's such a good friend.
But yes, she turns him down and it's like, I don't feel like I'm ready to date. But like, I still want to be your friend.
Mm-hmm.
And ChanWoo is standing like in the doorway just watching, and he's like, oh, idiot. Like, clearly he doesn't know that she doesn't like him.
Because it's me.
Obviously.
Such a catch. But WonHo is outside now, sitting on a curb with his friend, and he's genuinely confused by the signals that Sua has been sending him, because everything that she has done, from giving him attention, remembering his name, calling him cute, he's like, the signs were clear.
What is happening?
But Sunghoon tells him, you shouldn't have neglected to give her a gift in this day and age. You should know better than to confess without giving at least flowers.
Balloons.
But as WonHo is thinking about it, he realizes that Sua is actually interested in KyungSeok, and that makes him mad. So it's back inside the bar, and ChanWoo offers to take Sua home, but she politely refuses. And Ji-hyo comments, being pretty is such a burden. Someone else says, honestly, Sua, your face looks like it's sculpted. And Sua immediately turns the attention to MiRae, saying that she is also pretty.
Like a doll.
Like a doll. And I've not had any plastic surgery, but neither has MiRae. And it gets quiet. And so uncomfortable.
It is.
KyungSeok, yeah.
Blatant.
It's just awful. But KyungSeok walks over. He sets down a plate of snacks on the table. He looks Sua in the eye and goes, are you having fun? And she goes, the party, of course, it's a ton of fun. I'm having a great time. And he goes, I'm talking about your ridiculous act. And she goes,
satisfying.
She's still playing dumb, though. I don't know what you're saying. And he goes, you're pretending that you don't know what I'm saying. And she starts to cry. When all else fails, break out the tears.
Just start.
And she goes, I'm sorry. I guess I did something wrong. And everyone starts to gun for KyungSeok's head. They're like, dude, you're such a jerk. Why would you say that to her?
How could you do that?
Even MiRae starts to comfort Sua, and it's like, you didn't mean it. He didn't know. You didn't know. And then finally, Sua rushes out the door, and people chase after her. And then KyungSeok looks at MiRae and says, are you really that dumb or just a fool?
And he's not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was one of my favorite scenes just because he sees through Sua's crap and obviously has zero problem calling her out for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why she started crying, because she's never had anybody
She
call
didn't
her
know
out like
how
that.
to get out of that situation other than to
Let me turn on the waterworks.
let me get out of a speeding ticket.
Yeah. So he leaves, and MiRae also leaves because she actually follows Sua into the bathroom, and she's comforting her. And she was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. And she's like, well, I didn't tell you. And she's like, well, that would be so hard to bring up that conversation. She shouldn't have to have that conversation with you. You've not proven yourself to actually be a friend from the get-go. So, but while this is going on, WonHo decides to come up to KyungSeok and challenge him to a drinking duel, basically. Of like,
Which we already know KyungSeok is pretty solid in that area.
right, we don't need to. But he pours a bottle of soju each and is like, okay, whoever is the slowest has to give up like a man on his pursuit of Sua. And he's just like staring at him.
He
like,
will not participate.
He's like, what is happening?
Mm.
And WonHo just goes and chugs.
With the grimace on his face.
Yeah, when he's done, he's just like, what did I just do?
Terrible.
Too much, too soon. And he goes, okay. Did you just not do it because you knew you would lose? And KyungSeok kind of calls him out in that moment of like, what is she, property or something? Like, really? And he goes, you were rejected because you weren't good enough. Causing WonHo to reach across the table and knock over the other cup of soju and like pull him forward. And he was like, you want to go? Pretty much. And he's like, I think you should probably sit down. Like, you've clearly had
really
enough.
Want to fight? I mean,
I'm far more sober.
So ChanWoo. It sounds like I'm saying ChanWoo.
And the first time
ChanWoo.
in episode 1 when he said that, I was like, what are you talking about? And then I realized that I wasn't catching on to the character's name. So.
Yeah, it's okay. So ChanWoo has brought Sua a drink, and they are sitting on a bench when he asks yet again if they can date. And Sua just tells him, you know, we can't be together because MiRae liked you first, and I really just want to be a good friend at the end of the day. Oh my gosh.
I cannot stand her.
At this point, I'm like, it would get exhausting to be able to keep all of those lies straight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would... anyway, it's fine.
And you came up with it so quickly. So how do you remember it?
Yeah, exactly. But MiRae and her friends are leaving the bar. They kind of go their separate ways. MiRae doesn't want to go for round 2, I think it is. So she's like, I'm just going to head home. Been kind of an embarrassing night anyway. So as she's walking away, ChanWoo follows her from around the corner and pulls her into an alleyway so that they can talk. He likes to pick really secluded places for these types of conversations. But he asks again, do you like me? And if you do, then we should date. And MiRae says no. She just flat out says no this time. She's tired of this conversation. You've embarrassed me enough. I don't want to keep doing this back and forth. I'm going to be explicit with my answer now. It's no. And then he asks why she went to babble to Sua behind his back about it. And naturally, MiRae is completely confused. He tells her to go to Sua herself and tell Sua that she doesn't care if he dates her. So MiRae goes to leave. She's like, I'm done.
I'm not going to be here anymore.
He grabs her arm and he just stops her. And she goes, what did I do? And he goes, you flirted with me first. Did you think things were going to work out for real? There are people like you all over Gangnam. You plastic monster. And he goes to hit her.
Yeah, he is.
He raises his hand
ready
to hit her. And she instead hits him with her bag and knocks him down and runs away. But she goes, how dare you swear at me? What did I do that was so wrong?
Good for her.
About friggin' time.
Well, and that was even in episode 1 where she was like, I stood up for myself. I didn't let people walk all over me.
Yeah.
And I think part of it was she wasn't realizing she was going to have to continue to do that.
Right.
with this new face, this new
Right. She
life
thought she
that
would attract a different type of person.
Right. Not that people just suck, regardless.
Right. But she's walking home and passes KyungSeok, who is trying to help carry a nearly passed out WonHo.
So hammered.
But he turns and watches her leave, and poor Sungwoon's like stumbling under the weight of his friend. Yeah, basically. And then we end there.
Oh, that was a ride.
It was. Character of the hour.
KyungSeok.
Our segment. We have buffed it. We have little boards that we made for our character of the hour. So do you want to go first?
I do.
Okay, go ahead. KyungSeok.
KyungSeok, we love him in this episode. And yours?
So my main is KyungSeok, but I also have YooJin, which is one of MiRae's friends.
Yes, is that the one that
sticks up for her?
Is that the one who also said, "What did I enlist in an elementary school?"
Yeah. She's stuck up for MiRae twice now in front of the sunbaes when they try to get her to drink, basically saying like she's too tired.
Like, stop.
Please stop.
Knock it off.
So, she is my runner-up. My
I like it.
Honorable mention. But
yeah, KyungSeok, because, well, one, he was their first friend being in the hospital. And, I mean, also, he got rid of a superficial girl that really was, just kind of after his friend's dad's money. But then, help with the bar, help decorate, help serve drinks, whatever it is he needs to do. But then, dealing with ChanWoo being the worst in the cafeteria and being like, oh, that was a mistake. Like, dude, like, I can see what you're doing and I will stop you. He's already stopped him before from taking it way too far with MiRae in episode 1. But then standing up for MiRae when Sua's blatantly just exposing her without asking her, like, anything. Just being like, oh, yeah, you didn't get plastic surgery. And him going, you're fake. And I can see you right through that. But then also for him calling out MiRae of just being like, what are you, dumb? Like, don't let people walk all over you. That's not okay. And, calling out WonHo, just like, you don't get to treat people like they're objects.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll help carry you home because you're now so hammered.
Yeah. I just think that he has this ability to cut to the core of most people, because of his upbringing. He has watched the fake niceties with his father just toward him, and his father back toward other people, reciprocated, and just what an empty lifestyle that truly is. And so I think that that's just why he doesn't tolerate it.
Yeah,
in
won't
his
put up
personal
with it.
life. Yeah, so those people are cut out.
You've been cut off.
Final thoughts.
I liked this episode significantly better than episode 1.
I figured you would.
Sua's the worst. I cannot stand her. And I feel like that's just going to continue for the rest of the show. Now you get to play the poker face. It made me sad that MiRae placed blame on her dad for her and her mom's decision to let her do surgery. But then, there's going to be obviously drama with KyungSeok and the fact that he considers his mother to be dead. And, there's a clear longing for some type of mother relationship because he was looking at other people with their, kids interacting with their mom being like, you actually, like, have a relationship. Right. And so there's obviously going to be lots of things that happen. ChanWoo also sucks.
ChanWoo.
ChanWoo.
Not Cha-un-woo.
No.
We love him.
We love him.
I think MiRae is finally learning how to trust a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But she's almost gone a little bit too far in the wrong direction with it, to where she's not able to discern people's intentions very well.
Right.
I think she's cautious of the wrong people and trusting of the wrong people
I
at
agree.
this point. So we'll see her.
Hopefully figure it out.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was episode 2. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll catch you next time. Bye.
The big speech. End the recording.
Like what you're hearing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any new episodes. We'd love to connect with you on our Instagram at The KDrama Show. For more behind-the-scenes content, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Links are in the show notes. Thanks for hanging out with us on The KDrama Show with Ashley and Kim, and we'll see you next time.
When you edit this, just know you're loved.